So anyway, guys, this is it. This is the house where the infants were found beneath the crawlspace back in 1985. After doing some digging, a lot of research and sleuthing, this is it. What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all from a very quiet neighborhood here in my hometown of Cleveland, Tennessee. And now, you guys, before I start off this vlog, I want to ask you all this. Have you all ever purchased a home or gotten into a rental property? You're cleaning it or you're moving your stuff in, and you make a very horrifying discovery. Now, horrifying can be subjective. Sometimes people might find trash. Some might find a horde of cockroaches, maybe even termites. Well, February 24th of 1985, a gentleman was cleaning a new apartment he and his mother were about to move into when they made a discovery that sent shivers down their spines. In fact, this discovery was so scary that they had to get law enforcement involved. And what they had found beneath the crawlspace in a locked suitcase, wrapped up in plastic bags and newspaper, were the bodies of two infants. They determined that the bodies of these two fetuses were between 8 and 9 months old. One of them they believed to have already been born. This body, it still had the hair, blonde hair. The other, they determined that it was a stillbirth. But not long after this, you had like all of Bradley County and Cleveland, Tennessee's law enforcement. You had TBI involved. Actually, there is one quote from one of the TBI officers. His name was Stephen Cole. Stephen Cole took photos of the bodies of the infants. However, what should have been an open and shut case from the start, as you all see, it was found in the crawl space of a house. By like records, you know, they probably by record, court documents, tax records, it should have been relatively easy to track down the parents of the babies they found in the crawl space. Even Arnold Botts, the sheriff's officer who was working on it, said that people have been living in that house for 20 years. They should be able to find who they're looking for. This is actually the direct quote that the officer said. And also, Stephen Cole, the TBI officer, it still haunted him from time to time because they never found who the parents of these babies were. They just sat there, but luckily they were able to get blood samples. And I guess why all this is starting to come up in the news and whatnot is a post has been circulating around Bradley County about the discovery of the infants beneath the house. Well, you guys, I have found that house, and by my own internet sleuthing, I have also found out the name of the man who made the horrifying discovery. Now, before we go any further, I would like to add one more thing about this case, and that is when they found the bodies of the infants, they found a newspaper dating from around October of 1964, and they believe that that's right around the time that the infants died or were stillborn. That's one thing in the case that they still don't really know. But they were able to track down the bags that the infants were buried in to a suburb in Washington, D.C. And when they got the information from that, the people running the dry cleaning business who had those bags said that they hadn't used those in about 10 years. So it only adds mystery and fuel to the fire. Now, after doing my research, all my sleuthing, reading Facebook comments, I'm about 100% without a shadow of a doubt that this is the house that a man named Frank Burrell made a harrowing discovery back on February 24th, 1985. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the house. Now, how I managed to find this out is when I was doing my my digging, I was looking through a lot of Facebook comments, especially looking at the post that had initially been shared. And there were two that really stuck out to me. One of them was an older lady who had mentioned that the house was right off the side of the road, right off West Side Drive, just off of Georgetown Road, the curve of Georgetown Road. This right here is the curve on Georgetown Road. Might I also say that this is not all that great of an architecture. A lot of wrecks do happen in this spot. And also, going off of this, I also found another comment from a person who claimed that her uncle and mamaw had moved into this house. And they had moved not far down the road from this house. The house is actually down that way. But that's how I kind of put everything together. A lot of, I was led on a lot of dead ends. Like the first one, I saw a comment saying that it was the houses behind the chalet. The chalet is an old Quality Inn motel that's right down the road. Part of it's closed. That didn't really make much sense when I looked at it. And then also I saw somebody who had mentioned it was right off of 20th Street, or they thought it was 20th Street. 20th Street is in this direction, which again puts it in proximity to this house. Now, the second person in the comments who helped me put this together, they moved onto West Side Drive back in 1995. And the house they moved in was right down the road over here. But back in 1985, her uncle and her grandmother had just moved into this house. They were cleaning it up. And I want to say probably right around in here is where they discovered the bodies of the fetuses. Now, in present times, now that this case has come back up, it's 40 years later, it was added to the National Registry of Missing Persons, I believe last year or this year. A lot of people in Cleveland, when they heard this story at first, even me, they didn't believe the story. They believed it was a hoax. Well, I'm also here to show you all the different types of news articles from around the state of Tennessee that was talking about this story. There you had one in Clarksville, you had one in Nashville. I want to say that they also had one in Knoxville. So a lot of places at the time were talking about this case, about the fetuses who were found in the Crawlspace here at this house. And now this house was also built in 1940. It has been a rental house for a very long time. And again, that kind of puts it in perspective how I was able to put like everything pointing at this house. So anyway, for those in the Bradley County area who have been wondering about this case, what it exactly is, those who said that they didn't know anything about it, well, it's a real case, and it did happen. And to this day, no one knows who the parents of these babies were. So it honestly, it still leaves the mind just wondering. And that's kind of why I made this video. I wanted to do my digging, use my Columbo-like research, do what I used to do in college by digging and using my journalism degree. And now you guys, you all have the name of the man who found it and the rental property where they found those babies. His name was Frank Burrell, and he passed away several years ago. And anyway, like I said, he was in for quite a scare that day in 1985. Now, for the time being, I am keeping the family who made this discovery anonymous or confidential. I don't know how they feel about this. All of this research was of my doing. So for the time being, I'm keeping them confidential. Just because I really don't know, and I did all the digging to find out which house it was and the person who made the discovery. But anyway, guys, because of this video, I think I'm gonna make a few more videos centered around Bradley County and Cleveland's cold case files, or cold case files or true crime that really has been forgotten about. Also, I do have my my second book coming out May 1st, just a week from today. Make sure to check it out. It's Ghosts and Mysteries of the Cherokee National Forest Southern End. But anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in, posting, subscribing, commenting. It always means a lot. I love you all very much. So anyway, guys, see you on the next one. Peace.